the disciples were first called Christians. And this took place in a city by the name of Antioch. And the people who were there, who saw these believers and lived their lives, they called them Christians. And some say, well, that was kind of a slang thing. But maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a compliment, because basically it was to say that you all model your lives after Jesus Christ, the great teacher, prophet, and who we know as believers as the Son of God. And so they were there, most of them, because of the persecution that had taken place in the city of Jerusalem when a young deacon by the name of Stephen stood up and, man, he preached a sermon. It was a tremendous, powerful sermon. And literally, he took history from the time of Adam all the way through the Old Testament to the prophecies of the coming of the Messiah. He declared that Jesus Christ was Messiah. And then he pointed his fingers at the religious leaders, the scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and he said, you put him on the cross. You crucified him. And when he said those words, the people got so angry. They picked up stones and they began to hurl them at young Stephen until they killed him. And you know how that story goes about them laying their garments at a young man by the name of Saul, who later became Paul. And that's all a part of the history of those days and of why these people were there in the city of Antioch, a city 300 miles north of Jerusalem. And not only were they in the city of Antioch, they were in other towns along the way. But the believers who were gathering together in Antioch caught the attention of the church in Jerusalem. And the leaders there said, we better send somebody up there to investigate this, to find out what's going on. And they sent Barnabas. A man of great compassion. We read about Barnabas. And so he goes up and he sends back a glowing report to Jerusalem. And he talks about how glad he was to see this group of believers who were exhorting the grace of God, and they were teaching the things of God, and they were happy, and there was a joy in their heart. And so he told the church in Jerusalem, he said, good things were happening here. And then he left to go find Saul, who now was a believer. And he went and brought him back to Antioch, and they spent almost a year just teaching the people about Jesus Christ. Thus, those who were around said, Christians, they're Christians, they're Christ-like. And so we're going to give them that title. Well, I think there's something to be said to us today about that title and the life that we lived and the way we behave. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.